YouTube, I'm back again today for another game review. Today I'm very excited to check out Pikoko from Brain Games. This is for 3 to 5 players. Take you about 30 minutes to play, and it's for ages 10 plus. And Pikoko is a really interesting trick-taking game in which you are going to be trying to predict how many tricks other people are going to be taking, and also predicting how many tricks you are going to take. But the big catch is that you are not actually going to be able to see your cards. You are going to be able to see everybody else's cards, and then based on what you see from everybody else's cards, and also based on how they wagered how many tricks you're going to take, you then predict how many tricks you are going to take and play a confidence card to say how confident you are in whoever's going to win. It's a really out there, brain Betty style trick-taking game, but is it good? Let's open it up and I'll tell you what I think. Alrighty then, we're going to take a look at what you're going to get inside of Pikoko. So first and foremost, we have our handy-dandy rule booklet. It's really 2 pages, double-sided, full color, full of pictures, illustrations, examples. Very well done. Should have you up and running in no time at all, and didn't have any extra questions other than that, so big thumbs up on the rule booklet. So Pikoko is a trick-taking game we're going to play over the course of 3 rounds, trying to acquire the highest score. But unlike your typical trick-taking game, you're not going to necessarily be trying to get tricks for yourself. In most games, you'd score points for the tricks you get. No, in this game, you don't actually get to see your cards. So everyone's going to get one of these really cool peacocks right here, and you're going to look at this part of the peacock, which has, and the feathers are actually, they show you, you put the feathers out like this so that you can see, everyone can see your cards well. And then the person to your left is going to be the person to your right is going to be playing your cards for you. What am I talking about? Let's go over the components. Let's get into the gameplay. So first, component-wise, everyone's going to get their own little peacock. You can go up to 5 players. These are plastic too. These are not cardboard. These are really nice plastic right here. And you're going to have a whole bunch of cards to insert in there. They'll go from 1 to 11. And there's a couple different suits. And when you're playing with less players, you're going to take out some of the numbers. So right now, I would have a 5-player game set up because I do have the 10s and 11s in there. There's also going to be some wilds right here. Not really wilds, but they can count as red, white, or blue. And you do have to follow suit in this game. You're also going to have trump in this game as well, and those can be utilized as trump as long as you're still following suit rules, if that makes sense. Next, everyone's going to get a hand of these cards right here. These are called confidence cards because I'm going to show you in a minute you're going to bid on how many tricks everyone's going to take, and then you're going to put your confidence card down to show that you were confident or not confident in your predictions. Last but not least, you're going to get some tokens. These little tokens are your wagering tokens. These are how many tricks you think other people are going to take. So let's just go through how the game works. So first, everyone's going to be dealt 8 cards, and they're going to set their cards up like this in a little peacock, making sure that they do not look at their cards. So let's say it's a 3-player game. You're going to be able to see the other 2 people's cards, but you will not be able to see your cards. You will see this right here. And starting with the player who has the first player token, which is, boom, this right here, everyone is now going to grab as many tokens as they think this person is going to win tricks. And you flip over the top card, of course, to see what trump is. So in this case, trump would be red. So you look at their hand, and you're going to put as many tokens as you think they're going to get in your hand, and then you're all going to reveal at the same time and put them in front of the pigeon. So right now, I see they got some really good blues, 9, 10, 11. I would probably bid maybe 2 on this person, depending on what other people had. But you're going to then secretly reveal, and you put them in front of the other people. Now, you do not bid on yourself yet. You're only going to be bidding on everyone else. And then this person over here, that's a really bad hand. I might actually bid 0 on this because 0 is a realistic bid. And then, once everyone's bid on everyone else, you are then going to bid on yourself only based on how other people are bidding. So let's say, in front of me, somebody put 4 and 3 and 4 and 4. I may be like, you know what? I think I'm going to get 4 because apparently I have a pretty good hand. So, once everyone has placed tokens in front of everybody else, or chosen to place 0, which is an option, you are then going to place a confidence card in front of yourself. And this confidence card is either going to have a +3/-1 or a +1. So if you're not confident in any of the bids that you put, so you don't think blue's going to get 2, or yellow's going to get 0, or you're going to get 4, you can just put this +1, and you'll gain +1 at the end of the round, and it's a point, no matter what. Now, you also could put one of these cards out in front of you, saying that I am confident that another one of these particular colors is going to reach the number of tokens that I put out in front of them and not exceed it. They're going to hit it right on. And if you're right, you're going to get 3 points. If you're wrong, you're going to lose 1 point. But now is where the really interesting aspect of the game works. Starting with the person with the first player token, the person with the first player token is now going to play a card from the person on their left hand. They're not actually playing their hand, they're playing a person on the left. So if this is the first player, they might play down, for instance, this 2. So this is not this player right here playing the 2, it's actually this player playing the 2. They play that down, and then everyone has to follow suit with typical trick-taking style rules. If you don't have a yellow, then you can trump someone and you can win that hand. And whoever has the highest hand takes the set and then leads. And you're going to do this until all 8 of the cards have been played. Once all 8 of the cards have played, you're going to score for that round. So how does the scoring work? Well, first and foremost, you're going to see how close you were on your predictions. And if you were right on, so let's say that this person actually did get 2 tricks, you would get 2 points. If you guessed 3 and they got 3, you would still get 2 points. You're going to get 2 points. If you're one off, either one higher or one lower with your prediction, then you'll get 1 point. And if you're more than one off, you get 0 points. You can't lose points on these predictions. So you'll do that for everybody. And then you're going to factor in your confidence card. So I wasn't very confident in anybody, so I would get +1. So you're going to factor in all those points, and then you're going to write down your score, and you're going to rinse, wash, and repeat over the course of 3 rounds. And whoever has the most points at the end of 3 rounds will be the winner of Pikoko. And that, in a nutshell, is how the game's played. Alrighty then, Pikoko from Brain Games. What are my final thoughts? Let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons. First on the con side, 3 to 5 players. Somewhat of a restricted player count. Would have liked to see this gone to a higher player count, and I think it would have worked. Also, it's a trick-taking game. You need to know that. It's very light. It's a very simple trick-taking game. There's some interesting twists and turns here, but if you don't like trick-taking games, this one's probably not going to sway you because you just don't like that mechanism, and this is just that mechanism, pure and simple, and it's repetitive in that aspect too, where you're going to do it just over the course of 3 rounds and score as many points as you can. And that's not going to be for everybody. If your game group doesn't particularly like trick-taking games, or you don't particularly like trick-taking games, I cannot recommend this game. Just pure and simple. Continuing on with the cons, like many trick-taking games, there is no theme in this game. The theme is your peacocks. You're losing feathers. I don't know. There's no theme. I don't think they tried with the theme. Yeah, it says strut your tail feathers in this clever game of gambling and reading the room. Yeah, it literally, there's no theme whatsoever in this, which might be a turn off to some people. I felt like there was a dominant strategy in this game once you realized it. It's not a deal breaker, but I did play this 3 times and I won each game because I tried to do that strategy, which is you normally want to play a confidence card, I feel, with the person on your left because you control their cards and because you get to see 75% of the board. You don't get to see what you have, but you still see tons of information out there, and you can control their hand. And I feel like we almost considered house ruling it so that once you play a confidence card, you have to play a different confidence card each time, because what I always do, for the most part, until the 3rd round where I was winning handily in 2 of the 3 games, was I always played confidence on the person on my left because I'm going to be controlling that hand and I see a lot of information. So it just feels like that's a no-brainer to play your confidence card on that person. It's not a deal breaker, but it is something that I did want to mention. That's what I got on the cons. Moving on to the pros. Pikoko is a great game. I really stinking like this trick-taking game. It will be staying in my collection. It didn't go over well in my classroom. And that was primarily because they weren't familiar with trick-taking games. I think if I would have introduced them to a much more simple trick-taking game first, it would have went over better. So I'm going to give it a pass on the family weight scale. But I think if your family does play trick-taking games, I think this could be a great family weight game. But also at the same time, I think this is good enough to be a filler weight game or just a end of the night style game on game night as well. Because I had a lot of fun with this, playing this with adults, and I played it on my game night. It went over very, very well. And what I like about this game is it's a simple trick-taking game at its core, but it's just so brain-bendy. It's just different. The last trick-taking game I played that I liked this much was Indulgence from Restoration Games, which just kind of, it was a trick-taking game, but it just kind of flipped that concept on its head. And Pikoko does much in the same thing because it's just really interesting because you kind of have to be looking at what everybody else is doing and how much everybody else is bidding and then decide on what you're going to do. And I really like that aspect of the game. It's also really interesting that you're not playing your own hand. And one thing that I really liked in this game was you start to predict what someone else is going to do with your hand based on what they bid, and then you're playing your game based on what you think the other person is going to do, despite the fact you don't see the cards that they have, which are your cards, because you don't get to see them. And I thought that was a really cool concept. Also, components are great. The artwork looks good. Theme doesn't come across at all. Could be about anything. But, you know, I do like the graphic design. Very good graphic design choice to have it look like feathers on the back, so you'll know exactly how to put the cards on there. Very well done rule booklet. I wish the score sheet was double-sided, but honestly, you could just use a pen and paper. So it's not a huge deal, but damn it, I always like double-sided score sheets, and it annoys me when I see that they don't have them. I like the multicolored cards. I thought that was interesting. I like the fact that it has Trump. I like trick-taking games that have Trump a lot. And in the end, I think Pikoko is a great trick-taking game that I can recommend. It's going into my collection, and if you like trick-taking games, this is absolutely one I recommend you check out. It's very different, very unique, and very recommendable. I think it's a great game. Pikoko from Brain Games. If you enjoyed this review, please be sure to click on that subscribe button down below in the comments below. Let me know. Peacocks. Do you have any interesting moments with peacocks? For me personally, they're all over my zoo. They are everywhere. They're like squirrels at my zoo. You see them all the time. Me and my son actually were patient and still enough when he was 4 years old to feed a peacock a raisin. So there you go. That's my only interesting story with peacocks. Other than that, they just annoy me because they spread their wings and they block the dang road at the zoo. And I'm like, come on, peacock, get out of the way. And everybody else is like, oh my God, let's take a picture of the peacock. I'm like, amateurs, scram, scat, get out of here, peacock. But let me know in the comments below any interesting story with peacocks. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.